very strange that I have a large nose, and I'll tell you why.
I guess you're privileged to have a big nose then, because you don't live in harsh conditions.
The habanero one? Holy fuck, dude. You know, maybe I've been treating this bike as some sort of parkour bike when really it's just a...
I once came face to face with a wild rhinoceros. That was pretty crazy.
I got stung by a bee once.
I think I've seen you without a hat for a while. Can that be true? You look different.
Do I?
Yeah. I was like, why do you look different? That's because your hat's there, not on you.
No,
Have you been wearing that
take it off
all the time? I think you have. We can look at all the footage. I swear you have a hat on every
Really?
shot. Maybe it's
Well,
just me.
Well, oh my God, I'm not ready. Okay. Let's get pumped. Let's get pumped, Arlo. Arlo.
Why do you always resort to bringing him into the equation? You know he can't
He
respond.
makes me feel comforted.
So I divert the attention away from yourself.
Yeah.
Just-
All right. And we are back.
yeah.
Hello.
Feels like a long time ago, but
feels
it's
like a
actually
really
because
long
we
time.
recorded the last podcast quite a few days before it came out.
Yes,
So it's been like almost 2 weeks since we actually recorded.
That is
About a week
true.
since we uploaded.
that's true. We have all our old gear back to the
All the
normal.
old shit.
No lavs, none of that bullshit. Was that last?
Yeah.
I think we did a podcast between.
No, that's the last one.
No, because isn't the lav one?
That was the
where-
first. That was the new.
Right.
That was the first episode
Right.
of the new year.
Oh my God, that one was annoying.
We've only done one episode.
Yeah, so we're back. Season 2, episode 2. Have we done a new title card? No.
No, we haven't.
And I'm not going to do one until maybe next week.
Maybe we'll see.
We'll see. We haven't really had time because we have officially finished the rough cut for Boris and Johan.
Yes. 4 days early.
How exciting.
We set a date.
Well, first we said February, and then we're like, we think we can get this done
That is true.
earlier. And
Yeah.
then-
and then even earlier.
So today, for those of you who
kinda
don't know, is
Went through it so quick.
the 15th. Yeah, it really did pick up towards the end there.
December 1st, you said, "Oh, we're gonna finish the rough cut before we
Leave for
part ways
vacation.
for Christmas." And I was like, "Okay." And then I started to believe it as we started editing, but then you had to do some other things as well.
Right.
So it makes sense that it only took us really like a week and a bit after we came back to finish.
Right. Yeah. And it's done. And I'll say this, it's 2.5 hours long. So,
That is long.
you know,
Well, you were saying when we finished,
Uh-huh.
you're like, "Oh, well, this was meant to be 80 minutes."
yeah.
I
But
think
80 minutes was
only
a very-
twice as long.
It was a very arbitrary. I was just basing it off of movies
Script
that were
pages.
similar.
Yeah,
The
that's
script
it.
pages and so on and so forth. But yeah, we're a little over time.
It's definitely longer than you expected it to
Oh,
be
yeah.
before we shot.
Oh yeah.
What about after we shot? Did you think
I-
it was going to be longer?
No, because it's too many. It's like when people are like, how many pieces of rice are in that pile? There's a certain amount at which it's like, I have no fucking clue, dude. It could be like 300, it could be 3,000. I really don't know
Yeah.
how to count that high or to imagine things that large. I think the same way it's 148 scenes, which is even lower than actually what it is, I think. Because some of the scenes are like 12 scenes actually put together.
Right.
So it's really like 160 scenes or something. I
Mm.
just don't know.
Yeah, I had no idea. I was just going off of what you said.
Yeah.
And then
I don't think you do know. I would be like, how would you kind of... I mean, I know a page on a script is supposed to be a minute of film edited, right?
well, that's again, that's
Very
just something
arbitrary.
someone's made up.
Right. But
It's like on average. It's a
Yeah.
better indicator than nothing. Just clear my throat there.
we'll cut that out.
Nothing.
Yeah, I think I honestly thought, because a lot of the takes were basically one takes, I thought as soon as we get to the old chopping board, we'll cut it down. And it might be 2.5 hours if we had left everything untreated. But
Yeah.
it is surprising to see. With the movie's already got quite a bit of pace behind it.
Yeah.
And we're still, it's just a long story.
The thing I've realized is that the way that we shot it, which is this like in one take, it we have to be very careful when we cut. We don't really have the luxury of just being able to cut out
Right.
stuff because it's literally that.
Right.
It's cutting out stuff. It's not cutting to a different angle
Right.
and making time seem like it didn't pass.
Yeah, you can't really manipulate too much.
No, it definitely now it feels like time has immediately passed, and that is not always what you want.
Right.
So it's hard to cut sometimes,
Yeah,
which is an interesting challenge.
it is, especially when it's like I found that the scenes where I really just want to put one cut feel so awkward if just after like 20 seconds of a scene unfolding,
Yeah.
you suddenly cut because you want to go to another take or you just want to cut out this little.
Yeah.
So then you either have the decision, well, leave it all in or let me start making cuts earlier in the scene to justify this cut that's going to come
Yeah.
later.
If it's not emotionally justified, you have to set it up
Right.
beforehand.
Right.
It's like not always easy, and that means that it's a little long sometimes
Yeah.
because you don't want to sacrifice that emotional
Right.
thread that you've created.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's been, I think, a super interesting process. I don't think you've ever edited something that long either, or
No.
yeah. So,
I think the longest would be like a 12-minute
12 minutes?
short film.
I think mine would be 61 minutes. Dance Dance Nerdolution.
Actually,
greatest
I did
movie of
did
all
a
time.
20-minute documentary.
Oh, nice. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it did. Once we got started, it didn't feel like it was a 2.5-hour film.
No.
It's like you're editing scene by scene. You're editing a
ends up
bunch
there
of short
somehow.
films.
Yeah, exactly.
In my head.
Yeah.
Or at least the way this project has been.
A bunch of scenes.
We've been doing I think you've been averaging a couple more scenes per day than I have been. I'd say I've probably been doing like 3 scenes a day. Would you say that's about accurate?
Yeah, but we also were just on different, like a lot of the scenes I was doing. I think I already knew what I wanted, and it was just a matter of picking the right,
Yeah.
picking the right take, I guess. But
It's made me realize how much I love actual editing.
Yeah.
Not video cutting together a video for like YouTube,
Yeah.
but actual editing.
right,
Like looking at the performances and
It's
picking
crazy.
the one that's emotionally correct.
yeah, and how you have an intuitive sense for that.
Yeah. And then being able to manipulate it to follow what you feel is the best take, then everything else has to match that.
Right.
It's totally different.
It is. And there's so much interesting stuff about it. I find it fascinating. The whole, like, it can be quite draining after a while because you basically have to go through, if a scene has 18 takes,
Yeah.
you have to go through, watch each take.
Yeah.
Because you feel like if I don't watch take 1, like, we spent all this money, this time, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, let's not immediately kind of, like, try to quickly go through this. Like, you really want to sit down and watch everything.
Yeah.
Like, I have a total problem with that sometimes, where it's just like, it's just too much to kind of keep in your head of like 18 different takes. Each one has its own little thing that's good and bad maybe, and you're trying to weigh, and I had heard from a friend that he basically watches all the footage, then he'll go outside and go for a walk and kind of piece the scene together in his head, and then once he feels like he knows what he wants, he'll come back and then edit the scene. I was like, I find that very difficult. I feel like I'm more like, I'll just put something there for now, and then I'll watch the other takes, and I'll compare them to what I think is the best,
So you'll kind of
and
edit
sort of
as you go.
puzzle it together more.
Yeah.
The same way I was saying the analogy of like, we just cleaned up the office. And you're trying to lay out in the office, like, where do you put this? Where do you put that? Right. And you could spend forever kind of like in your head going like, well, this is probably the best place for this. This is the best place for that. Whereas for me, it's much easier just to put something somewhere and then later be like, you know what? Actually, this is something else should go here. This makes way more sense.
If you get in your head that there's one perfect way to cut the scene,
Right.
you're never going to cut it.
Right.
And
But
you
I
just
also
have to-
appreciate-
you just have to go with something.
Right.
And then you just have to go with it and follow through on that idea. And then if it works, there's only so much time and energy you can spend analyzing if that is the exact perfect way or the best way
Right.
to have that scene play out.
It's so weird.
There's so many ways that film could have and will turn out.
Yeah, and it's all based on, like, even if I had been like, okay, don't edit Act 1, I'll edit Act 1, and you edit.
It would be a different film.
Totally different.
Yeah, I was thinking that. I was imagining, like, had you edited this alone, it'd be a completely different film.
100%. And so it's just like, it gets weird, because then you're like, it's random, but it's not, obviously, because you're putting in the work, and it's leading to something that you want it to be, but at the same time, every small decision.
It's really weird. And that's what I
all
meant
the
by
accidents
you almost,
that happen.
you almost can't, like, if you start thinking about it too much, it gets a little, like, overwhelming.
I think because that is when I would be like, you would never finish a film.
No.
Because you could just keep
going.
giving it to different
That's what I
people, have different people look at it. You could just keep editing it forever.
Let's try this
Literally.
take matched with this take.
Yeah.
There's an infinite amount of combinations
Yeah.
of scenes and takes
Yeah,
that would create a different feel.
right.
And I'm
even
sure there's like
different days that you come into the editing room.
Yeah.
You're in different moods, and you're
Yeah.
in different. And it's not like one consistent 20 days of like I feel the exact same way about everything. I'll watch something at the end of one day, and then watch it the next day, and be like, "Oh, this isn't actually," or "Oh, this is amazing.
yeah.
This would actually work really well with this."
I do think we've done a good job of creating an environment that has been very focused.
Yeah,
Like the days have been like almost exactly the same.
it's like
Start
Groundhog's Day.
here.
Yeah.
We've already prepped our meals
Yeah.
the week before.
Yeah.
It's the same thing we eat for the week, and then finish at this time. We have a very good routine.
It's very good.
Cup of coffee at this time. Cup of coffee at this
Oh my
time.
god, I'm ripping through coffee. But yeah, it's been way better than I could have imagined, and I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that we're working together, because off of that idea of like, well, what if I had just edited it myself? I would have been fucked.
You think?
I really think so.
Oh man.
We're not fucked. I think it would have taken me, because I can get in my head so quickly about like, oh, this sucks. This isn't going anywhere. This sucks, right?
That's true.
And then sometimes it helps just to have someone else be like, no, we'll be fine.
Or like leave it for a bit.
We'll figure it out,
Yeah.
right? I think that, and just the bouncing ideas, because it's again the thing of like, I know what I want, but sometimes it just takes me. It's like you can get so bogged down in like, well, does this look better or does this look? And it's just a wince of an eye or something, right?
Yeah.
And it's just getting someone else's opinion on like, you'll just be like, nah, I like that one more. Mm-hmm. And then I'll either go, yeah, you're right, or no,
yeah.
actually, it's because,
That's good. That's like if someone's like, oh, I don't know what I want for dinner, pizza
Right.
or a sandwich. And you're like, oh, let's have sandwiches. And you're like,
right.
Oh,
No, actually,
no,
pizza.
yeah.
Yeah. So I think in that sense, and it's pretty amazing to me. Like yesterday, I was just kind of slow, right? I think I was just kind of, that last scene was just, there was a lot to watch and a lot to get through, and a lot of stuff that I already knew we weren't going to use, but I still had to kind of take a look at it and stuff.
Yeah.
And I just kind of sat there for a little bit, and then I looked over, and you were just so focused on what you were doing.
What was I?
I don't even fucking know. Some scene. But it was just the idea, this like, I think people find it so hard to find someone that they can work with that cares as much as they do about the thing that they're working on, right? And then by extension, it sort of ends up becoming your project as well, is sort of the benefit that comes out of it. But that is something very hard to find. And I'm very grateful and appreciative of that, and of you helping me with this, and it becoming your film as well.
Well, it does feel like I care about it a lot.
Yeah.
Like,
But that would be
in
so...
a good way.
If someone was like, yeah, I'll help you edit it.
Yeah,
But they
yeah.
kind of were like,
Well, if you say something and I'm like, well, I don't really agree with it, but you said so.
Right.
All right, we'll do
Right.
it that way. I
Right.
definitely don't feel that.
No.
So I'm like, there's something that I don't necessarily like.
Right. And in that sense, you
I
can
feel
also
a sense of like
quickly-
ownership over it, which
Yeah.
is good, but yeah, it's also like,
And you can check things off just quick. If we both say, yeah, that's great. Okay, we'll move on.
yeah.
because
Until we watch it back.
It happens so rarely that we're just both like, okay, great, this is perfect.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen rarely, but usually there is like an added sentence like,
Yeah,
oh, this
yeah.
is good, but
Yeah.
you still have to imagine, you know, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
That just allows you to speed up the process as well. Is that, you know, I think we both have high standards, and if it meets both of ours, then it's pretty much like, okay, let's move on. Whereas if I was just working by myself, I think it would be hard sometimes to, because your mood really can influence how you see something, right? So I could come in on a day where I'm like, oh, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And then not really realize.
Just think about all the conversations we've had about things that aren't obviously story points.
Right.
Like why is the character doing this? Or
Right.
what is the motivation behind
Right.
this specific element of a scene?
Right.
It's like, that's not stuff that existed before. That's just purely stuff that came from really talking about it for a long time
Yeah.
and coming to some kind of conclusion about, that actually makes sense that that's why they would do that.
Right.
And then you try and edit it according to that thought.
Yeah. And it forces you to, because I feel like in your own head, you can convince yourself, I know why he's doing this. But
Right.
you've never actually written it out for
Yeah.
yourself or, you know,
Yeah.
said it out loud. So someone being like, well, why did you choose that?
Yeah.
Even though you thought you knew, you start to explain it and you're like, oh, wait.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess I don't really know.
It's good.
That might be a problem, you know. All that's been good. And I am so pumped to start this fine cut
Yeah.
and see.
I can't wait
How
to
that
show it
goes.
to other people.
Yeah.
Because I feel like as much as we're talking positively about
Yeah.
it, it's like, oh my God, I want other people to think the same thing that we think.
Yeah.
Or to have some stuff confirmed. Like,
I think in a
people
weird
get
way,
it, or this is confusing, or
Yeah.
I just want to move beyond the speculation and have actual, like, concrete knowledge about
What do people think?
what are people thinking,
Right.
but like also the details of, like, do they understand this?
Right. I think that'll be interesting because there'll probably be some massive holes or somebody like,
Yeah.
did he?
exactly.
And like, no. Why did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
And then figuring out whether or not that's even important.
Right. Wait, I was gonna say something off of.
Showing people.
Oh, that it's kind of like, I think it's one of the first things that I'm genuinely proud of. And that's not to like take away from the other things we've done, but it's like the thing that I want to be doing is aligning with what we are doing. And it's, you know, if everybody hates it,
Yeah.
I would still be like, I'm proud of that.
Yeah.
I'm proud of what we did with that, you know?
Yeah.
That's something that I'm not embarrassed. It's like when you come out of high school or film school and you go home and people are like, oh, let me see the stuff that you made.
Yeah.
At least me, I always had this feeling of like embarrassment, and it's like not up to really
Yeah.
what I want it to be, but it feels people are like, oh,
that's-
good job, you did it.
Yeah, you
know,
tried.
You are like you're a real little filmmaker, aren't you? Like that sort of, you know. So that's very satisfying. But enough of that, unless you have anything else to say.
Well, I think the thing to be proud of is also, the part of just actually working on it, which is hard enough in
Yeah.
itself.
I was trying to think in my head. I was like, how many hours do you think have been put into this?
Into the film or into the edit?
Well, I was thinking like the film, even going back to like writing.
A lot.
And I was like, I have no fucking clue. But even just the edit, I mean,
Well, you could calculate it.
you
with-
could.
with the edit.
6 days a week, 9-10 hours a day,
Uh-huh.
and just go back.
Plus, you did the syncing and
Right.
looking through all
Getting
the stills.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
But I
I'd
do
add a
think-
couple days or maybe a week.
You know what I think really helped
Hmm.
was taking off like 6-7 months after shooting it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I watch those scenes now, and like half the time I can't remember where that take went or what would happen, right?
Or why it went there.
Right, so you have a fresh set of eyes that you're not so concerned about. Because when you watch it right after you shot, you see the shot, but you also know exactly like what's outside of the frame border.
Yeah.
You're like, you know, I was telling you now, every time I watch a take and the camera suddenly, moves or something and shows us there as well. I'm like, oh fuck,
Yeah, that's weird.
we're there.
Yeah.
Like you get like sucked into this,
Mm-hmm.
So I find it crazy that people will shoot a film and then edit it in the next 2 months, and even in the blink of an eye, he's like, take 2 weeks off. I'm like, 2 weeks.
Yeah. I have nothing to compare it to, but I feel like you only have so many times that you can watch it with clarity,
Right.
where you're not focused on irrelevant details, and you see
Right.
it the way that you want to see it, or the way that an audience member is going to
Right.
see it, someone who doesn't know anything.
Like even when we edited the trailer, which is so much. Like now, with all the knowledge we have now to edit a trailer,
Oh yeah.
would just be light years away from what that trailer was, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when we were editing that trailer, you're so focused on like, oh, I remember that being really good. I remember really liking, and you're kind of like not letting it create itself. You're more,
There's things that we think are good that no one else is going to think is good, because we maybe know how hard it was to create
That's the
that
thing.
moment, or
in the
we-
moment we were just like, oh, that's fucking sick. That was so cool.
Yeah.
But we haven't seen the footage,
No.
so we're not actually.
That's
But then we kind of hype ourselves up and are like, yeah, it was a man. And then you just get trapped in that. And then now 7 months later, it's like I'll open up a scene. I'll be like, I have no fucking, obviously there are scenes where I open them up and I'm like, I remember this.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, for
100%.
sure.
I know I want this take, blah, blah, blah. But the rest of it is like, you just watch them and you're like, form your own opinions again. From a distance.
Even when you open up a scene and oh, that take, I'm definitely
Yeah,
using that.
yeah.
There's been situations where I've been like, oh, well, that isn't the best take
yeah.
at all.
Yeah.
Like, take number 1, the one that we hated,
Yeah.
is actually better because now it's kind of changed a little bit.
Yeah. Or the things you're just so focused. I mean, I think it also just helps like to see yourself direct and like do all that, because you can kind of pick yourself apart and be like, okay, well that wasn't that important in the moment. Actually, I was getting a little obsessed over this little thing that we're not even going to end up using now. Or just, I don't know. There's a lot of things that I think will just be so much more prepared for the second film, which is exciting as well.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, to the bets.
To the bets.
How's your bet going? And then I will.
Well, I am 2 weeks in, almost 2 weeks into the bet, and the bet was that I said I'd get up at 5 a.m.
Classic.
6 days a week
Damn.
for a month.
Damn.
There's a lot of ways to interpret that question. I think I've done it, so it's going well.
Uh-huh.
It's also proving to be very beneficial. Like, it's having the effect I want it to have, but it's also very hard. So, well, yeah, what do you want to know about it?
I don't know.
So I've been,
Well,
okay, I'll talk you through what I do.
Okay.
This is my routine. The night before,
yeah.
I will set up my station in the living room.
Yeah.
With my notebook, with my book, with my headphones, everything I need.
So it's out of the room.
Yeah, I get up and
Okay.
go into the living room.
Okay.
And then I also set my alarm in the living room
Ooh.
so that I have to get physically out of bed
Ugh.
and go to the alarm and
Yeah,
turn it
yeah,
off.
yeah. That's a good idea.
Yeah, it is, because I honestly think I would have failed had I not done that, because from hearing it go off to going over and turning off the alarm, my brain is just like thinking of every possible reason why I can stop.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But by the time I'm there, I've like just kind of woken up enough to have a little bit of like sense that I can like get dressed and like start.
Right.
And it's all just like, all right, just start.
Right.
But the reason why I wanted to do it was
Yeah,
that I
that's
felt
awesome.
like I didn't have enough time to be by myself, basically.
Right.
We're together all day.
Yeah.
And then when you leave, Phoebe comes home, and then
Yeah.
I'm with Phoebe in the
Yeah.
evening, which isn't that long. It's
Yeah.
only a couple of hours.
Yeah.
And so I really don't have any time to just do something that only I want to do.
Yeah.
So unless I'm like on a run or commuting somewhere, like I'm always with someone else doing something that we both want to do, which is good, obviously. But I also felt like I wanted to have a little bit of me time, which I think is important.
Yeah.
So getting up early, no one's gonna be awake then, so I can kind of get some things done that I felt like I've always been wanting to have more time to do. Like at the end of the week, I'm like, before this challenge, it's like, oh, okay, well, I really want to do more of this and do more of that. And there's just not enough time.
Yeah, not enough hours in the day.
Not enough hours in the day. But then it's like, if you just go to bed a little earlier and wake up a little earlier, it's like those hours are more productive than later hours in my experience.
Right.
It's like after a certain time, it's like, I'm not going to really do anything now. It's like, it'll be more of like maybe watching something, which is something I also want to do. I've actually ended up watching quite a few movies.
You're right.
At 5 a.m. in the morning, which is a bizarre experience. But I have all these like big hopes for what I could make the 5 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. time be.
Yeah.
And that I'm still working on, like multiple weeks now. Well, I feel multiple. It's only been almost 2 weeks. I've been like, all right, at least 2 of the mornings I'm going to go to the pool and do my swim training before the day starts. Yeah. And that is the hardest thing, is doing that. Oh my God. I've only managed to go twice, which I'm still happy with. Good. But it's like there's also been 2 or 3 times when that's been my plan.
Right.
Packed my bag, put my swim shorts, my towel, my goggles and everything by the door.
Yeah.
I'm fucking going.
Screw it.
And I can't in the morning. Like I can't. I'm just like, oh
mind.
my God, fuck no.
Yeah.
It is, but that's also why I do it, because it is an exercise in that, like your morning mind. I haven't heard that before, but that's exactly what it is. It's different. And it's like a weak little boy.
Yeah.
Who doesn't know anything and doesn't have any discipline whatsoever.
Yeah.
And being able to practice with him a little bit just shows up throughout the rest of your day when you actually are yourself and you can make like good decisions, and you just make better decisions. And I find that it's definitely made me more like, you get up that early and you get that amount of stuff done beforehand.
Yeah.
It's like you kind of like owe it to yourself to keep it up. Otherwise, like, what the fuck was the point of getting up?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like if I get up early and I meditate, I read, I work out sometimes, and I do all these like smaller tasks that I want to get done. But then afterwards at like 8, I'm like, all right, now I'm going to slow down and take a nap, or just kind of like take my time with stuff. I'm like, well, then I could just be working harder now and then not feel like shit in the morning when I get up.
Yeah.
So it's like I kind of feel like I have to keep it up.
Okay.
And just do more in general. So on top of actually having more time, I feel like I'm also more productive. But it's only like this week that I'm starting to feel like because I'm definitely sleeping less than I'm used to.
Yeah.
I'm getting like an average of 6 hours of sleep.
Okay.
And I'm used to getting like 7.5.
Yeah.
If not 8.
Yeah.
It's like I'm starting to become less sleepy. But in the beginning, I really had to like try hard.
Interesting.
And like get up all the time, do pull-ups randomly, because I'm like, wow, I just am sleepy.
Right.
Which is often why I've stopped doing it. Because I've tried this challenge before. I'm like, I'm going to do it. And I'm like, well, it's like not having the effect I want it to, because I feel like I'm less productive during the day because I'm just tired.
Yeah.
But I feel like this time around, I'm smarter about it.
Okay.
Getting into more of a routine.
I find the thing interesting. We talked about that, the sort of having alone time.
Yeah.
I find that interesting. Because I was telling you, I wouldn't be able to, like, when I get home from work, like 90% of the time, if my roommate tries to talk to me, I am like in some other land, right? Because I really need like an hour or 2 hours to literally just sit by myself with my own thoughts and kind of decompress. And I was like, that'd be very difficult for me, I think, to go straight from work to,
and being engaged
That's
with
the
another
thing,
person, not just
right.
being physically
well, yeah,
with
obviously
someone
I can
else.
talk to people, but it's like
Yeah.
my mind is somewhere else.
Yeah, you gotta like make an effort, and that's not easy all the time.
Yeah. And I said it's probably easier if you love the person that you're talking
Yeah.
to, right?
It helps if you actually
But,
care.
I think, yeah. No, that's really interesting. And maybe that added sort of element is, because I think that's what it comes down to for me, is like the reason why you're doing something right.
Yeah,
Because a lot of things are good, but you could still not have a good reason for doing them.
are not a good enough reason. So
Right.
when it gets hard or there's like a disadvantage
Right.
to it, you're like, oh, it's not worth it.
Right.
If your reason is like, because apparently that helps something.
Which you like meditation for me, right?
Yeah.
I know what it does for me.
Yeah.
But I also only need it really when I'm like anxious or stressed or something like that. So I feel like I haven't needed it in the past like 6 months or whatever.
Yeah.
But at the same time, obviously I know it benefit my life, but I just don't have like a very concrete like this is why I do it.
Yeah.
Because I,
No, and I feel like we also talked about how you'll have the idea of wanting to do something, and then like 2 years later,
Exactly.
you're actually implementing it properly.
Yeah.
And the 2 years leading up to that,
Yeah.
you're like testing it out.
Yeah.
Trying it in different scenarios.
Yeah.
It's been long enough now for me that I feel like I'm getting more of a grip on why and having it be suited specifically to me and not kind of maybe exactly what someone else said. Oh, get up at this time and do these
Yeah.
things because that is good. And okay, I'll try that.
Well,
And
that's what I
you
wonder
realize
sometimes.
It's not exactly what you need.
Yeah, with
or what
all
you
the
want.
with all the like self-help stuff, it seems like sometimes, and I think I was definitely doing that, is that when you're unhappy, you try to pile on a bunch of things that you think will like negate. If you're not happy with your job, and then you say, okay, well, I'm gonna come home, I'm gonna work out, I'm gonna meditate, I'm gonna read, I'm gonna do all these things, go to bed, and then go to work the next day. It sort of like covers the issue a little bit for a little while,
Right.
but it never solves the problem.
Yeah.
Right. Or it's just sort of like, what are you even trying to do? I'm going to be the most productive person so that I can.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's sort of where I ended up, and now I do way less of the things that I thought would like. Oh, that'll make me. If I can just become that guy, then I'll be, liked and all those things. And I just found out, I was like, no, I just didn't like what I was doing.
Right, but that's hard.
Right.
And it's like you said, if you don't like your job and you come home and you want to do it, it's like that first part's hard to figure out that that's actually what maybe is what's making you upset.
Right.
That any amount of things that are good for you
Right.
aren't going to change that.
No, it's just like I don't know what it is. Because I've seen a couple of people who are just like, you almost want to tell them like, it's not going to solve your problem. I get what you're trying to do,
Yeah.
but I don't think it's very, it's not that long term. And I think that's the whole thing then, which I had too, where it's like you do something and then it just kind of tapers off after a while. Because it's like rather than making your life better, you're just trying to suppress the bad constantly. And that won't really ever go away, I don't think, unless you deal with that actual issue.
Yeah, you have to know why you're
You
doing
can
it.
only kind of like have discipline and kind of resist that for so long.
I think the thing for me is that I have realized that there are many things I want to do besides just my job, and that it's not going away. Like I want to do them still. It's like I need to do them.
Just need more hours in the day.
I need to start working on them.
Yeah.
And it's like I'm not gonna stop working. I'm not gonna stop the thing that I love the most.
Right.
It's like, well, I just gotta try and kind of figure out when I can do them.
Yeah.
And so I have a very strong why, and that's why, like, when it's hard, I'm still like, yeah, but that's why, and that's still worth it.
Yeah, if that's what I've heard that a lot about people who like they'll get up at 5, they'll answer their emails because they say it is literally the only time where they are, especially like I would say like CEOs or something. It's like they're being asked questions all day and like, oh, can you sign that? Can you, if you just get up earlier, then obviously you have that time
Yeah.
to sort of just do some uninterrupted work.
I mean, for me, there's still the like challenge aspect of it that I feel like I just constantly need something that makes me uncomfortable to keep working on.
I would hate it. Again,
It's like it's obviously not something that I in the moment enjoy, but I just see how it changes the way I go about dealing with other things. It makes me just better at handling other stressful situations, or being able to see positive in just straight up shitty situations. Or when you feel shitty, you can still, get out of it or make the most of it, or it just, I don't know exactly what it is, but there is something about,
I mean, I think everybody can
challenge that.
relate to the days where, whenever I do have to wake up at like 5:30 or something, I mean, you feel like a god when you're out on the street, and you're like, I'm up before all you fucking assholes. Like, look at me, up at 5. I can definitely relate to that feeling of like, it does pump you up in the morning if you do have to get up and do some work. And like on the days where we shot Boris and Johan very early in the morning, getting up at like 4:30 or something, you do just feel like,
and
I'm just going that much.
It definitely feels good, but that also goes away,
I would imagine,
straight away. Like 3
that's
days
what I
in,
couldn't
and you're
do.
like, okay, I don't feel that high anymore.
Yeah, well, I don't get.
It's not exciting anymore.
If I was just walking to my living room, that's what I could not do that. I would have to be like, okay, if I'm getting up at 5, by 5:30, I need to be at the fucking, I don't know what, every morning at the gym, at the pancake house, whatever. Get out of the house, right?
Yeah.
That's what I would need to do. That's what I still need to do. And I'm getting up at 8, and I still have to be like, oh God, just get on your bike, Taylor, and then you'll be fine. And it's literally like the first pedal. I'm like, okay, this is fine. This is what I'm doing now.
There's something about the working out in the morning that I haven't quite cracked yet, because it every time I do it, my day's better.
Yeah.
But it still hasn't quite. I still haven't figured it out yet to the point where I can just do it.
Right.
Where I can get up, and I can go through. It's not like I'm getting up and just lying on the couch watching YouTube.
Right.
But I'm going through, and I'm meditating. I'm reading specific books that I want to read. I'm looking at mountains I want to climb and trying to figure out like, well, how could I, like, planning those trips basically, and prepping for that kind of stuff. And then I'm like, oh, I also want to work out, but that part is just very hard. It's like I need like an hour to kind of get my normal brain back, the brain that can make good decisions.
Yeah.
I don't think it helps that it's winter in Denmark and that it's just so freezing cold outside.
Yeah, it doesn't really get
And
light
it's
until
dark.
like 8:30.
Yeah, I'm awake in the dark so long. I don't remember the last time I worked out during the day. It's either in the morning when it's dark or
At night.
like at night when it's dark.
Yeah.
I am absolutely fine to work out in the evening.
Yeah.
Like I can be really tired
Yeah.
after a long day's work and really not want to do it, but still do it.
But the evening makes sense to me too, because you work out, right? You do all this, and then you go home and you're just like, you feel good. You're like, I've done everything I need to do today. I'm just gonna sit and stare at the wall for 30 minutes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like in the morning. Although I used to very briefly worked out in the morning for a little while there, and yeah, I mean, you definitely feel good.
Yeah, and it's not like when I've gone to the pool in the morning, like I said, I feel like the rest of my day is better.
Yeah.
I do more. I feel more energized. I'm not sleepy.
Yeah.
And I don't have to work out in the night.
But it's that morning fucking,
Yeah, so I'm still working on it.
It's so disconnected too. I find it so funny. I think like Jerry Seinfeld has a joke about it, but it's like the nighttime you and the morning time you there's like no. It's like
it's very hard.
If you're out at a bar and you all have that extra drink and stay up an extra 2 hours, let's say, right? And you're like, oh, I'm gonna hate myself in the morning. Like, why am I doing this? You're like, no, I'll be fine. Like, fuck it. Every time.
You have to like be able to connect
night.
to your future self in a very unusual way.
Yeah.
It's bizarre.
It is.
That's why I set as many things as possible up so that like lay my stuff out. I set my alarms. I have to physically go get it. I put my bag by the door. So
Right.
that there's these things in place that
Right.
there's just 4 or 5 less decisions I have to make when I wake up.
Oh,
It's
I've
already
definitely
kind
heard
of
that. You got yeah.
on the way. And then also before going to bed, kind of running through what you're going to do. And I can tell. See, this is I probably know why I struggled to go to the pool in the morning. That I know with myself beforehand, the night before, if I'm actually committed. Because there's times when I'm like, it's 100% happening.
Right.
And it will. But then most of the time, it's like, I really want to, but I'm going to wait and see how I feel in the morning.
Yeah, right.
Like, I definitely want to. I'm going to pack my bag. I'm ready to go. But I'm still going to, leave it up to, I'm allowed to see how I feel.
Yeah.
And if I don't feel kind of above this amount of energy, then we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm obviously kidding myself a little bit at that point.
He's like a...
You need to just like visualize yourself going through it and doing it. And
No, I need like a thing of wasabi next to my bed.
Then you
every
have to
morning-
do it. You have to. Can you imagine actually doing that?
Yeah.
Just
In the morning, if I had a thing of wasabi, I've thought about this for a long time.
Okay.
A little thing of wasabi, right? In the morning, put a little in my mouth, and then like, when that second rush comes,
Yeah.
and you're like,
so why don't you do it?
because it sounds like a crazy person if I don't. Something just to snap you out of it. Because it's the same thing when you wake up and you feel like you've forgotten something, or you wake up, in high school, I used to wake up and be like, oh my God, I got to do my English homework. You are awake like that. Like, it takes you like no time at all to be like up, spraying, ready to go.
Yeah,
But,
that's true.
yeah, I really feel like nowadays I need my coffee. I need my just sitting on the couch.
I think I'm convinced it's also just practice. At least in my case.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get it. Like by the end of the
Are
month.
you going to continue doing it?
See, this is the thing, right? So
Right.
I feel like my idea is that with these challenges,
Yeah.
if I at the end of the challenge can honestly say to myself that continuing this challenge, it's not that beneficial to me.
Right.
I'm not gonna get that much out of it.
Right.
Then I don't have to.
Okay.
But if at the end of it, I'm like, yeah, this really made a difference,
Uh-huh.
and I do want to keep doing it. If I could just like snap my fingers and it would be easy to keep doing,
Yeah.
I want to keep doing it. It's not like within the challenge, like I'm not gonna lose a bet to you,
Right.
but I'm still doing the 6 workouts a week thing because at the end of it, I'm like, this is great.
Yeah.
Like, it's working, and I want to do more, and so I'm still doing that, and I'm sure at the end of the month I'll be like, oh, I can sleep in. There's a whole nother thing. We got to talk about Sundays as well, because I can sleep in on Sundays.
Correct.
6 days a week is all I have to get up. I'm sure I'll be like very excited about, tomorrow I can sleep as long as I want to, or I can get up when Phoebe gets up. But the day after that, I'll probably be like, ooh, like I kind of miss the 5 a.m.
Getting up
thing,
early.
because on Sundays I'd love to sleep in, but as soon as I'm up, I'm like, where the fuck is my day? Because imagine
Well, what time
this.
are you
Imagine
getting
this.
up?
I get up at 10, right? On a
You get
Sunday.
up at 10?
Yeah.
What a slob. I'm kidding.
No, but that's 5 hours later than normal.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, it's 10 at night, and I'm used to it being 5 in the afternoon. I'm like, I've still got all these things I want to do.
Right.
And it becomes so clear to me why I get up at 5, and I'm so ready to get up
Right.
at 5 the next day. I'm
Right.
like, now I can do everything I want to do.
So I'm having the frustrating situation now where I'm so consistent with my sleep that I want to sleep in on Sundays, but I just
can't.
wake up,
Yeah.
which is fine. I think I'm just getting enough sleep during the week.
Yeah.
But I find that better than the alternative, which is like, wake up tired and then try to catch up on the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely reveals how tired I actually am.
Right.
That I don't even wake up at 5 or 6 or 7 or
Right.
8 or 9. It's like at 10, Phoebe wakes me up. I'm like, I'm still trying to like navigate that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But overall, It's good.
Cool. All right, moving on.
Whoa. What's your...
Yeah, that's what I'm moving on to, buddy boy.
Okay,
Hold
fine.
your horses.
Same category. We're not moving on.
Moving on to me.
So, yeah, I've been doing the bet. What are you going to do?
Listen, I'm going to bone myself because this is exactly what I shouldn't be doing, which is tacking a bunch of things on.
Let's do it!
I'm going to fucking do it. And I might even add to this, okay? And here we go. I want to do 100 push-ups a day. Okay? And that's it. I'm not kidding. And, going off of what you were saying, I was so goddamn happy when I was off of social media. I'm going to go off it again.
Exactly. It's
And,
like, that's the point of these challenges, is to see if it actually makes a difference.
Yeah.
Like, you'd be stupid not to keep doing it.
Stupid.
Or at least to not...
What are you, stupid?
You're stupid if you don't keep doing it, or if you don't, like... There's no good reason not to.
And, you know, it's like, I don't even know what to compare it to, but it is such a slippery slope. Because I did that month without YouTube, without Facebook, without Instagram. And I think it took me like 2 days to get back into my habit of like, you know, just, and I think it's, ooh. So the YouTube is kind of like the main one, right? That I just sort of waste a lot of time on. Right? And time that I have to waste and want to waste. I'm not upset about it. But I think it would be better if I did something else.
Wasted on something else, you mean?
Yeah, right. And I think the reason I just can't control that fucking platform, because I was like, why do I love it so much? And it always gets to the point, right, where I start watching like road rage instant karma video compilations, right? That's sort of my lowest. Like when I hit that, I'm like, I think I need to do something about this again, right? Or if I start watching snooker videos or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Something you're not otherwise interested in.
It's almost
that you
like
become
YouTube
interested
directs
in.
you there. I swear to God, my recommendation just becomes more and more snooker and bad driving. And then at some point I'm like, it's all snooker and bad driving. I need to stop. I can't find any other videos, right? So, and I think the reason I'm so, I don't want to say addicted, but just fascinated by it is because that's something that you should be able to see like once in your life, right? You see somebody pull some stupid shit and then instant karma, the policeman is right there, or you know, something happens, they end up crashing their car after cutting off a grandma or something, right? And like in real life, you'd be like, that is amazing, that is the best thing I've ever seen in my life. Okay. That it worked out so perfectly, right?
Right.
But on YouTube, you can watch like 60 of those a night, right? And like, I just love the human experience. I love being outside and having those experiences, but I'm like, I can also get the same satisfaction almost of watching someone else's video that has captured it, like this once in a lifetime moment. And I can watch them for an hour straight. Right?
Yeah.
So it's like, I think that I just can't really control it because I just find it so fascinating. The same way with like, you know, Boris and Johan and all that stuff. I really like weird confrontations in public, or like people who are just so different from me that do exist. And you'll see like, I don't know, just a mother getting mad at a bunch of kids at a skate park or something. And it's like, I just find the interaction fascinating, and that someone could get so upset about something like that. Or like, there's this thing I'm watching now. Skip like 10 minutes if you want to get past my YouTube rant, but the thing I'm watching now is these like motorcycle riders that get so pissed off when cars cut them off that they'll like break the car's side mirror or something, right? Or they'll, you know, speed up so quick up to the car and just yell at the car like they just want to get into a fight, basically. Or they don't. They always blame it on like, you didn't put on your blinker, like you could have fucking killed me. As the motorcycle rider is riding like 80 miles per hour down a fucking suburban street or something, right? So I just find...
The psychology is interesting.
It's so interesting.
It's definitely fascinating.
Or just road rage in general, like as soon as people are in their own little bubble, they just become like monsters of like... Just, or when two cars, you know, because I'm the biggest pussy when it comes to driving. Like if you cut, I'm gonna be like, okay, come. Oh, you want to come in too? Okay, you come in too. Right? I really will just I don't want to get in anybody's way. I don't have any road rage. I don't really care how fast I get somewhere. So it's fascinating to see people who will like risk their life for, you know, an advantage of like this ego thing of you cut me off, so I'm going to make sure that you pay for it. Or I just find it all.
It totally makes sense. I think everyone has that. It's like there's something that fascinates them. But I think what you're saying is that there also has to be some kind of, that's not enough for it to be a good reason. Like you have to also either like learn something from it or be
right.
There has to be more than just fascination, because then we could all just sit and watch something that's shocking or absurd or different, and that's the only reason why it's interesting or why we're doing it.
Yeah.
It's like there has to be a little more than just that. Otherwise, it starts to get boring, kind of.
Yeah,
you start to get numb.
Yeah. You know, it's the same as like, you know, porn, for example. It's like a perfect example of giving you some, you know, like the internet has just done things to, we're not prepared psychologically for what the internet has to offer, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We don't know how to separate a girl on a screen from a girl in real life. Obviously, consciously we can, but sort of like internally, the reptilian part of the brain really can't. So I just find it interesting, and then I do feel like it's a little bit my responsibility because I can't seem to control it. I mean, obviously,
although you can, because you do.
But it's just like
in the moment, it's more difficult. It's more in like hindsight.
It's not even a problem. Like I wouldn't go up to someone and say like, "Oh, I have a problem with it." It's just something again that I'm like,
it's like, well,
why am I doing it if I don't have a really good reason for doing it? Let me just abstain from it. And I think.
So you're gonna keep doing that.
I'm gonna keep doing that. The same with Instagram. I like posting. I just, you know, I think. I just want to have the ability to put it out there, and then I'll let you deal with all the comments and all that good stuff.
Right. So wait, let me just clarify. So I said that I was going to continue the like working out, but that's not a challenge thing. So if there's a week where
No, that's not.
You're actually entering it into the challenge.
I'm just pushing it on.
Okay.
Keep it rolling, baby.
Okay. Ooh, because going off of that, the thing the first time we did a challenge, we had, we're getting up at these times, we're meditating, we're reading, we're journaling, we're writing down our goals, we're visualizing, we're like all this shit.
Yeah.
And it was helpful, but like on the days when you didn't necessarily feel like you wanted to journal something, but you had to, it was like the whole thing was annoying. Right. So right now, when I'm getting up at 5, I'm basically doing those challenges. But every so often, I won't meditate or I won't read. But in general, like 6 out of 7 times, I'll do all of those things.
I see.
But not having to is important in that situation. Right. So the same with like the working out. I feel like I get it and I know why and I'm willing to do it and I do it. But, you know, that one time when it just... it doesn't make sense in that situation to try and fight for that last workout. Like I probably still would, but just having the freedom of mind, it's almost like not having to count the workouts. Yeah. I've actually done more.
Yeah.
Like
that's interesting.
I did more workouts last week than I did when I was doing the challenge. Yeah. Not like I was a psychopath about it, but I just happened to not take 2 rest days. I only took 1.
But that's what I think that's exactly what I'm getting at when I say, you know, it's not a problem. It's just that if you present me with the option of sitting on the couch drinking a beer and watching a Instant Karma compilation or stretching before I go to bed, guess which one I'm going to choose every fucking time? If it's just sort of like, what was that?
I think that was just the wind.
Like either or, there's no consequence to either, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like when I say, okay, well, I'm not going to do that for a month, then I find that I start to do things that are like just out of boredom, just out of sheer boredom. I'm like, well, what else am I going to do? Let me work on this fucking puzzle, and then I'll have a great time doing the puzzle as well. I think it's just hard because it's so addictive, sort of those sort of things, right? Like watching videos and blah, 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 that you just, of course you're going to go with that.
Well, you say there's no consequence, which is true. There's no immediate consequence, but it's like over time, there's the consequence of not having tried this whole new thing that actually you're really into that you didn't do because you were watching videos on YouTube because that's available.
Yeah, well, that's the other issue is that I'm
that's a consequence.
Goddamn happy at the moment that it's, it's like I don't care. Like, yeah, okay, so I spend 45-hour watching YouTube videos, which used to maybe bum me out.
45 hours?
45 minutes, so now. 45 hours in a day.
Are you calculating that per month or what?
No, I watch them at 4 times speed.
God, dude. You're just...
It's like I know some people listen to podcasts at like 2
mind
times
blown.
speed. And I'm like,
I tried to listen to an audiobook the other day at 1.5 speed, and I was like, that's just, I have no time to think about what you're saying.
It's just, what's the point too? It's the whole, I feel like it's the same as like, when you read a book, you're like, I really didn't understand or read anything. I just got through it.
Yeah.
It's like, what's the fucking point?
Yeah, I can
just
take
to
it
tell
off.
someone you
I've
can.
said I've read this book. Yeah.
Stupid. So yeah, that's the I don't know. I always feel like I need to like explain that it's just making
it's
life
interesting.
better.
Yeah, no, I think
not,
it's important to talk about why, because otherwise it's just like, well, why are we even talking about it?
Right.
It's just why.
Exactly.
And we think they're pretty good reasons.
I think so. So that's the social media one.
Right.
Then
we got a new one.
I want to read for 5 hours a week.
Right.
Because again, I think what happens is, I'll stop watching YouTube, so I'll start watching movies, which is great.
Yeah.
And that's I have a thing for that. That's not part of the bet, but I really want to try to watch festival movies for the festivals that we want to submit Boris and Johan for, so that watching movies is fun. Maybe turn it a little bit. It'll still be fun. I love watching it, but it'll be a little bit more research.
Right, that's why you were doing it last month.
Right, but I would watch like Scarface, and it's like, well, that doesn't,
It still helps.
Well, totally. I think in the grand scheme of things it helps, but it doesn't help me with like, oh, that's the kind of movie that this festival is really into, whatever.
But for editing, it might have helped.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And then I want to do no alcohol and no weed during weekdays. So Monday to Friday.
Okay.
I just like that from the previous bet. Again, it sort of feeds into everything where it's like if I can't drink while I'm watching a movie or something, I just focus more on just more like it feels
because
more.
It's not fun to not.
Huh?
It's not fun to not focus on it. It's like you have to make an effort to make it interesting all of a sudden.
Right. Or like if I smoke weed and watch a movie, I'm just like, what is going on? I still enjoy it, but I don't get anything out of it.
Right. More than just in the moment being entertaining.
Exactly. But I also want that to be, because this is something I would kind of, like you said, it would just kind of, I'd like that to just transition into my day-to-day life. But with the same thing, I will have an exception for that. With like if a friend comes to visit or something on a Wednesday, it's like, that's when I don't like the bets, is when there's exceptions.
Exactly. There's always
not
exceptions.
Not that you have to drink to have fun, but it's like, no, I don't want to have to go and be like, oh, actually, I'm not drinking this.
Because of this specific rule.
Yeah, exactly. That just seems arbitrary, and that wasn't the point of it. The point of it is not to drink at home
for the sake of it.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So we'll do that one, and then I would like to meditate 5 days a week as well from my app, Headspace.
Yeah.
And I want to do one. See how this is getting too many, but one Duolingo exercise or one full experience circle, which I think is 5 exercises per day in Danish.
Shit.
And that, my friend, is a bet that you can put in your pipe and you can smoke.
All right, let me just recap. So we've got the social media.
So yeah, the social media and the alcohol, weed is kind of just continuing, but there was modified to just fit into everyday life.
Then you've got Duolingo.
I've got Duolingo, 100 push-ups, and meditation.
I got that one, meditation.
So it's not that much actually. So it's just those 3 things that I want to do.
And read 5 hours a week.
Read 5 hours a week.
So 4 things.
4 things. But the reading is sort of like I could read it all in one day if I wanted to.
Right. It's not per
No.
day or anything.
Whereas the Duolingo, the push-ups, and the meditation would be specifically.
The new. Oh, right. Per day.
Yeah.
I got it. That sounds good.
Got it?
Yeah.
And I want to start this. You're going to be like, why don't you do it today? Because I don't want to, Mads. I don't fucking want to. When do I want to start this?
Well, why not today? Oh, sorry.
I want to start this. Well, because I also want to, if we're trying to get the film potentially submitted
Potentially.
to a intentionally. That's not the word I want.
Potentially.
Potentially. Did you just say potentially?
Yeah.
No, potentially. Potentially, we want to put it to a film festival.
I'm wrong.
That is in March. The submission. So I think I would like it to lead up to that day, which would be like March 10th, which then is just, maybe if I start, I guess I could just start on like Thursday or something. That'd be longer than a month, but that's probably good. Yeah, because I also like these, but I really enjoyed it in December because it made me feel like
Working towards something.
Yeah, even when you go home, you're still doing things for the, it's very like keeps you in focus and everything. And yeah, you're putting yourself in the right mindset. And then when the film's done, I can do whatever the fuck I want. And it sort of, transitions into that. So that's where I am at.
Sounds good.
Cool.
So are you doing the same consequence?
What is the consequence? Me going to the pizza, guys?
Yeah, it wouldn't affect you.
I mean,
I
would be uncomfortable.
We got to come up with something that's
Look,
really not fun for you.
Here's what I'm thinking. Because I also want it to be, which is why I added a couple things where I was like, maybe that's too much. I want there to be the temptation to fail, which means the bet also the consequence can't be so bad that it would never tempt me. So for example, what was the consequence was dancing in the grocery store. That was already enough for me to be like, there's no fucking way in hell I am dancing in my Netto.
Well, that's how I feel about the 5 a.m. thing.
Right, yeah. Well, it's like, I almost want to test us, so that it is like, oh, fuck, do I?
Right.
And kind of push the mental discipline a little.
Well, I'd rather,
like.
I look at it slightly differently. I'd rather not be tempted by an easy out.
Yeah.
But be pushed so far that I just couldn't do it.
I see.
Which is like a little different.
Right. Yeah.
I wouldn't want to lower the consequence so that I was like, oh, well, I can just give up then because it's not that bad.
Not like that, but like somewhere on the border of like, oh, I might forget to do the 100 push-ups one day. Right? I'm going to have to like make a list and stuff because I'm for sure going to forget. I just like I want it to be a little bit of a game. Like, what's the point? Because I also very much felt like the bet in December.
Yeah.
I knew we weren't going to lose it.
Yeah.
Which is great. We're still bettering ourselves and doing all that stuff. But I also like to gamble a little bit. You know what I mean? I like to have a little fun here and there. Make it a little more fun. So I don't have a good idea right now for a consequence.
I think the thing to do is just to kind of call bullshit on if the other person's challenge isn't hard enough for them.
Right.
Or keep a hard consequence.
Right.
'Cause it should fucking be painful to fail.
What? So give me a consequence then. The pizza doesn't
No.
give a fuck.
And we can make mine more if you want. But I'm telling you that does scare me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm also not going to fail.
Yeah.
At that challenge.
Yeah. What time do you set your alarm for?
5.
5?
Yeah.
So if you stay in bed for like 1 minute, that's crazy. Okay.
That's why I put it in the other room.
Smart.
And I literally, like, it is like a robot. It goes off, and I I'm standing up.
Yeah.
I have no time.
Yeah.
But even that, like, there is still time where I'm like, all right, I'm literally gonna go get my phone and just go back to bed.
Yeah.
But I don't.
Yeah.
Because by the time I'm in there, just the act of having to like open the door, walk in there, turn the alarm off, put the light on. All right, okay, fine, fuck it.
No, that's a good one. Me and Kevin used to. We didn't used to. We did it for 2 days, where we put money in the living room, and as soon as the alarms went off, whoever could sprint out of the room the quickest and get the dollar would get it. And we thought like, oh, we'll do that every day, and then we quit after like 2 days.
All right, you gotta make it like $50.
That would be good.
Because then if you lose enough days in a row, you're suddenly
funny
fucked.
the first day though, because I think both of us were like up before the alarm had gone off.
In your starting blocks,
Well, you'd have
door
the door
open,
closed, yeah.
shorts on, sneakers on. That's good.
Consequence. What's something that would be? I mean, maybe the pizza is good for me because that is something that would seriously tempt me. That I would still be uncomfortable doing. The reason it's not as uncomfortable for me is that I don't go there often.
All right. Oh my god, dude. Like, I think you would hate it.
You think?
Yeah. What if we add that you have to straight up film it as well?
Film.
Like you are holding a vlogging camera as you're doing it.
Yeah, that would be pretty bad.
Because now it suddenly turns into people would know that you're doing it for attention.
Ooh.
Which I think would get you. You know, you'd have to like hold it up and be like, I'm not leaving until I get my pizza without cheese. I told you without cheese.
Oh. Yeah, that would be the thing. The confrontation would be the hard thing for me. If they were like, I'd be like, well, I actually asked her this without cheese. And if they were like, no, you didn't.
You'd have to say, I did.
I did. You
couldn't back
guy,
down.
listen
on
here,
that.
guy.
What's your name? What's your name?
Oh my god. Okay, that's good.
Does that make you sweat when you hear it?
The confrontation, yeah.
Yeah. Make you cringe, make you feel really like not nice.
Interesting. Back to confrontation. I just can't believe that people like yell at each other. It just makes no sense to me.
No, me neither. I
Yeah.
don't understand it.
This sort of, fuck you, bitch. Fuck, how fucking dare. Oh my god, I'm gonna go into the other lane and like follow this. And I'm like, what?
It makes no sense.
Who are you?
Even talking like that to people you know about serious issues
Yeah.
or things that are wrong.
Yeah.
It's like just like raising your voice at someone
Yeah.
is like, well, is that really necessary?
Yeah, but I go into like, I don't even know. I can't even remember the last time I really like yelled at
Raged out.
somebody.
Yeah, me neither. Well, I can.
It was yesterday. Okay. Those are the bets. That was the podcast. Did you want to add anything? I think we're pretty good on time.
I think we're good on time. I
Save
think you
it for the
covered it.
next
Let me
one.
just look real quick in case there's something.
Oh, that's what I forgot. You had a bunch of points last time that you didn't bring up.
What were they?
I was going to scan them. No, they were in your notebook. So we just ended up talking about one thing for so long.
No, I mean I was gonna say we reached 300 subscribers on YouTube.
Whoop-de-doo. Man, we got to come up with like some new stuff to talk about because we got another month of editing ahead.
We need to have guests on this podcast.
We need to have guests. Yeah, I'm out of stuff to talk about.
Well,
Or it's gonna get
I don't
really
think
weird.
I don't think
really
we're out of
quick.
stuff to talk about. I think we can always go deeper and get in more detail about things that we find interesting.
Yeah.
But I definitely think it would help and be interesting to have some other people
Yeah.
in here so that we could because it's an exercise and like when we talk about stuff, I know what you know about what I think.
Yeah.
So I can kind of talk about it a certain way.
Yeah.
But if I talked about like waking up at 5 a.m. with someone who thought that was like the stupidest idea in the world, it'd be a different conversation and some different things would come out.
God, yeah, we need to get some confrontational. I need to get some of those people from those YouTube videos.
Or we should just start talking about some of the stuff we don't talk about on the podcast.
Like what?
No. Next
Johnny.
time. Rainbow Business.